say because it works for me, it may not work for you. But like I said, we don't shoot to give out bad information. We just have that disclaimer there. So please take a few minutes and read that, and then we'll continue to keep moving. And it's been a long day, but welcome you on a Thursday evening. All righty. I think everybody has read that by now. All right, so in October, if you have been to any of our main meetings, which I'm pretty sure most of you have, in October we're having Bill Cook, and
that was just this past week. We just had him.
I'm sorry. So if you missed that, you missed an event. Bill he's quite a character. So those of you there, you definitely you know that you were able to see that. So stay tuned for next time. I know we typically will have Bill will probably be back next year. I'm not sure what the schedule is, but if you missed it, like I said, reach out to some of the board members if you want to get in touch with Bill and get some information. All right, November, Battle of the Investors. So if you have not heard of, you've been under a rock, you can read the slide. So we brought together a team for a panel, and it's going to be a great event. If you've been at any of our meetings before and sat on any of the meetings with the panels, like I said, they're just great wealth of information. So make sure you attend, make sure you sign up early. They're basically going to talk about what's the best type of investing, whether it's going to be rehabbing, landlord, wholesaling, just whatever it is, and they're going to try to convince you what is best. And you may want to take one of those paths, you may already be doing that, or you may be doing something, decide to change the structure of your business. So make sure you sign up early. Like I said, our meetings do fill up, so please sign up as soon as possible. And by the way, the other board members here, that's the last meeting of the year, correct? As far as May meeting?
Yes, November is our last month of meetings, scheduled meetings, yes.
So please make an event, put it down to attend that meeting.
Yeah, before we get into Christmas.
All righty, so our holiday party, December 6th, once again, cost is $10, folks. I mean, if you have not been to one of our Christmas parties, it's going to be a lot of fun. You can read there. So please be festive, right? Dress up, come as an elf, come as Santa. You can even come as the Grinch. Who cares? some type of Christmas attire. But yeah, we welcome everyone. Cost us $10. Once again, not only is it a Christmas party, it's a networking event, folks. So always be networking, always. So it's a networking event. And you can see the location at the bottom. All right, our Saturday intensive seminars. So these do, as I was corrected, I don't know how many times, because my brain seems to forget all the time, but there is a small cost to attend the Saturday intensive seminars. If you miss the seminar, they are recorded, so you'll get a copy of the recording. But of course, October 8th, we're going to be talking a little bit. Well, actually, that's already passed, but we're going to talk a little bit about that here tonight, also about building your credibility to obtain financing. And I believe, I'm not sure, I can't see the names, but there was a lady, her name's Keisha Hickey. If she's on, Keisha, if you're here, but she's also Leonard, she's on here tonight. And we actually talked the other day, and I invited her out tonight, and I said, hey, maybe you should join us for this event. So I'm not sure if she was on here tonight or not, but we do have a lender that may be joining us here tonight. But once again, we do have our vendors. So if you're not aware, we do have lenders that are vendors, right, for the RIA. So please check out the webpage if you have not been there. But we do have lenders that are part of our RIA. All right, so Estimated Repairs Workshop. If you were not there, you missed quite an event. Everyone enjoyed this event. They got a whole lot out of it. And like I said, if you weren't there, I don't know when the next time we're going to have this. It's probably going to be in Charlotte. And Karen's shaking her head yes. So it's probably going to be in Charlotte, I believe maybe first quarter.
Yep.
So if you missed it in Raleigh, register early, folks. I will tell you that after this sold out, people are still contacting saying, hey, when can I sign up? When can I sign up? And then it's too late. So make sure you sign up early. If you have not attended this workshop, it is, like I said, folks, it's probably one of the best workshops we put on, because once again, the information you get out of there, not only, this fee is a small nominal fee, but for what you get out of it, it's priceless. So register early to Charlotte, make a weekend of it.
Yeah, and Lionel, for those folks that are Raleigh based, we will make sure we have a good hotel block, and we will make it a fun weekend. So don't feel like because it's in Charlotte that you can't attend. It's always great to go to a new area.
Absolutely. And it's just another networking opportunity, folks.
Absolutely.
Network. And then while I'm also on that too, like if you haven't been, like Karen, she's in Wilmington a lot with the other groups. So if you haven't been to Wilmington, once again, make an event, go to Wilmington. All right. Things are probably a little cheaper now. It's getting a little colder. Maybe to get rooms. I don't live there, but also we do have a subgroup in Wilmington. So make an event to maybe check out the subgroup in Wilmington. And I'll be helping Karen out going forward. So it'll be another chance for you to pick the brain and all of this stuff too. All right, so are we sold out yet? Or we still have seats left? Because
I think there might be one left. I sold one today. I think there might be one left, but I'm not sure.
All right, folks. So if you want to wholesale, this is it. Prep wholesale, right? So we don't throw this class like every single month. So it's prep wholesale. Make sure you join. You can see the fees there. It's on Zoom every Friday. You'll get a property on the contract as a group. You'll work through it, and hopefully you'll be able to wholesale it, right? And so you'll go through all the ups and downs of wholesaling. Hopefully your buyer will not back out on you, or the seller will not pull the property from under you. I got a call the other day about, hey, seller pulled property. What do I do now? Well, you got to work through it, right? So you'll learn all that stuff in prep wholesaling. So once again, Karen just said maybe there's one seat left. So if you have not registered, you want that one seat, lady, talk to us right here on the Zoom tonight. All right, so becoming NC REIA volunteer or a board member. So if you would like to become a board member or a volunteer, please reach out. You see the email there. Kathy will accept applications. And then also if you want to become a volunteer, I will tell you that when I started out with the REIA, I actually was a volunteer. I did check-in, and fast forward, I don't know how many years later, but I'm now one of the board members. So it's a great opportunity, number one, to get your face out there. Number two, to network. Number two, to get to meet people. And that's how it's what I did when I started out. So we're always looking for volunteers. Like I said, it's a great way not only to learn, but also to move up and do other things within the REIA. All right, so subgroup leaders. All right, so you can see on the slide there the different subgroup leaders we're looking for. If you are interested, please contact Leslie. Leslie's a board member. She's here tonight. So let me back up a little bit. So we do have two board members on tonight. So Leslie Ortiz is on, and Karen Lewis. There are two board members that are on here tonight. So like I said, if you are interested in one of those subgroups, email Leslie. If you know someone that you think may be a good fit for one of those groups, and please talk to them. Get them linked up with Leslie, and Leslie will talk to them if they're interested. But we're all looking for folks for those different subgroups. And you see marketing up there. They don't need to be a marketing genius, right? You could have someone that's killing in marketing with what we do as a whole, as real estate investors, and I implore them to please reach out to Leslie and talk to Leslie. All right, so Eric Patterson and Barry, so they have a podcast, the NC REIA podcast. If you have not listened or joined one of their podcasts, please take a look. You also find us on Spotify and all these other social media platforms. But that podcast is a great podcast. If you have a great project, or you're doing something great, or whatever it is, and you want to be interviewed by Eric or Barry, please reach out. Contact one of the board members, or you can even go to the Facebook page and reach out and contact them, and they'll get you set up, or they'll contact you, interview you, and see if you're a good fit and get you on the podcast. Photos. So whether you have a great project going, whether you have a project where things aren't going so great, you have a great wholesale deal, flip, whatever it is, right? Send the photos into the REIA we want to get those in, get them up on the Facebook page. They won't just go right to the Facebook page. You will have to screen them. But please send in your photos to the RIA, to the board, and we'll try to get those photos out to meet the criteria and get them out on the Facebook page. All right, so discounts. All right, so are we still having our Connected Investor subgroup, correct?
Yes, we are. Fourth
Fourth Tuesday of every month.
Yep, so if you do not know, we are linked now with Connected Investors. So instead of you having to pay, what is it, $1,500 or whatever that fee is, that has been waived for NCREA members. It's a great platform. It's a CRM. It helps you to not only track your business, to also evaluate deals. And like I said, it's a subgroup. So you're able to ask those questions every single month of issues that you're having, or just how to work different things within the Connected Investors platform. Also BRL loans. So a lot of great discounts for members out there. We have cabinet vendors, all kinds. So please check out the NCREA website to get more information on our vendors and other discounts that are benefit for you as an NCREA member. And if you're not an NCREA member, once again, Leslie, one of our board members, is on here tonight. So if you want to join, please reach out to Leslie and become a part of this NCREA group. 2 new subgroups, so you don't have to live in Wake Forest to attend. As you know, you can attend any meetings you want, but we do have a new subgroup out in Wake Forest, and you can see where they meet here, so I'm not going to read it to you. And then also in Gaston, subgroup out in Gaston. So you can read, so it's in the process of forming, and I haven't, been there or anything like that. So once again, reach out to Kathy, and you can get me more information on that subgroup within the Gaston area. 16 plus meetings. So folks, this was 12 and then it was 14. Now we're up to 16. So there's literally no excuse for anyone to say, hey, I missed a meeting, or hey, can I get a recording? Because even if you attend the event and you can't get a recording or you miss it, I guarantee you can go to one of these other meetings and find someone that attended that meeting, right? And still, if you're networking, and get information on the meeting, and or reach out to any of the board members. But like I said, we do have 16 plus meetings monthly, some of them are in person, some of them are on Zoom, but whatever your flavor, folks. And of course, the Women in Real Estate, which is a very popular group for women. If you're a male, we're not saying that you can't attend. However, typically it's something that's going to be typically helpful for women, but you can dress up a little bit if you want. I've been to those meetings.
You just got to be in a room full of estrogen. So, hey.
That's right.
At your own peril.
I will tell you this. Those meetings are not that the other ones are, but those meetings, it's a very, very small group, and it's we're still doing that at Prestonwood.
Yeah.
So
unbelievable lunch buffet.
That's right. So great food. I've attended, and as soon as I walk in, they look at me like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Well, because I want to learn." Right. So I don't care how long you've been doing this business, you can always learn anything in this real estate business. All right. So who's got what? So if you have been on Zoom at least once, you should know how to use the chat block. So if you have a need or wants within the group, so please post in the chat now. Karen is actually monitoring the chat. So if you do have a need, or if you have a want, please post in the chat. Karen will answer your question. She'll put it out to the group, and hopefully someone will be able to answer your question or help you out. So we'll give you a few minutes to actually do that. So gather yourself. Don't be shy. Put it out there to the group. And once again, that's why we're here, right? No dumb questions. So ask.
No dumb question, none. And Lionel, while they're doing it, one thing I would like to add, we do have the 4 chapter meetings, Raleigh, Charlotte, Wilmington, and Fayetteville. And not only are we looking for volunteers in the Raleigh market, but like I'm always the one running the the Wilmington meeting. And unfortunately, those of you that were there last month noticed I was there by myself. So we are always looking for volunteers, like people to help with check-in and kind of just host, maybe welcome everyone. It's a great place to learn. Same thing with Charlotte. Charlotte, last night we had, the people just kind of kept coming. So Leslie did check-in, but she sure could have used someone to kind of help her host people and say welcome and that kind of thing. So it's a great way to learn and meet people if you are in the Wilmington or the Charlotte market. Because I know I have a few people I see from Wilmington here. I'm not sure about Charlotte. And I also know we have a couple new members. I know Tamara just joined today, actually. So Tamara, welcome. We're glad to have you. If you have questions, put them in the chat, guys. Lionel,
Yep, so I see two.
Two. I need an attorney. I have my first potential wholesale deal. I believe I need an assignment contract. You don't have to have an attorney for an assignment contract. There are quite a few. In fact, I don't know, Substance, if you are getting on Kathy's training, but I do believe part of what she does is contracts. I know I have a form that I use. It's literally a one-page. So Substance, I'll put my number in here and you can reach out to me and I'll be glad to help you. Save you some attorney's fees. Sandra, looking to someone to network with, someone who attended the session on creating a credibility package. Wow, that was a good one. I don't know. I signed up for it. I haven't attended it yet because one of the beautiful things about the Saturday seminars, if you sign up and you can't be there, you get, you know, a recording. So just make sure if anyone did attend, please put your name and number in the chat so Quanisha can reach out to you. Substance, Kathy Russell does do the wholesale thing. She also, she is an attorney. She is actually not practicing right now because she really loves doing the real estate stuff more. So, but she may have a form and she is teaching the wholesale class. That is it so far. Anyone else drop a note in there and we'll get it going.
And I know tonight we'll touch on like credibility kit, not a whole lot, because like I said, we only have an hour, but we'll touch on a little bit tonight. But you know, if something in there piques your interest or your mind, just always email. Like I said, let us know and we can get you that information. But we will touch on it just a little bit tonight.
Yeah, and one thing, Lionel, I will mention before you start. Last night we had our meeting in Charlotte, and one person mentioned starting a subgroup that is a lending type subgroup. And we may sponsor different lenders each month. We're really looking at doing that. So that may be something that is of value to you guys. You know, how do you apply for a loan? All that stuff. So just know that we are looking into doing that.
Nice. I would attend that. Great. All right, so folks, any more questions before we get started? Nope. Okay, there's one. Just saw one pop up.
Tamara says, I have a Raleigh multifamily deal I'd like to make an offer on. Looking for an investor to joint venture. Tamara's name and number is in the chat, guys. Grab it.
So Tamara, just to give them a little bit more information, what type of multifamily are we talking? Duplex, quad, 6 units, 8 units? In case someone wants to reach out. Some folks are only looking for 5 or more, 5 being commercial. So if you can put a little bit of information there for them, that way they can reach out to you.
You're muted. Tamara, you're muted.
Was it Tamara?
Tamara. You're muted, babe. You're muted. Drop it in the chat. Type it in the chat for us.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, it was on the wrong audio setting. I will drop that information in the chat. It is a 4-plex.
Okay, perfect.
Gotcha.
All right. We are good to go, Lionel.
Oh, we got another wholesale deal here. Here we go.
Yep, Jesse and Tim, we potentially have a wholesale deal question, but hard to explain in the text. Just kidding. Jesse, you know my number, girl. Reach out.
Okay, I'll just text you then.
All right, babe. Angela Chamberlain's, I just joined on Tuesday evening at the Raleigh meeting. Welcome. They offered a flash drive with courses in the giveaway bag, but I noticed my drive was missing the Larry Goings folder. Should there be something in that file? Angela, I will write your name and number down and I will check on that because I actually load those. So I will check on that. All right, I think that's all for now, Lionel.
All righty, I was scrolling through seeing who all was here. Gotcha, okay. All righty, I see Miss Bonita. Welcome, Miss Bonita. I think it's your second or third meeting. All right, deals with four.
Yes, she said yes.
Yep, she's one of our newest members. So.
Oh wow, welcome.
Welcome. All right, cool. So let's go and get started, folks. What time we got here?
6:25.
Right, 6:25. All right, let's roll. So, private money, building credibility, folks. So, of course, we all need money, right? So we don't go around and ask people or beg people for money. We present opportunities. That's how we frame it. We present opportunities, not begging or asking for money. Present opportunities. And in order to do that, then you need to show, number one, that that your business or yourself, that you're credible. So we do that with building a private money credibility kits, among other kits. So there's so many different credibility kits that you can build that, like I said, it's unreal. But if you network throughout the RIA, trust me, you'll be able to come across folks that'll help you out and all those good things. You can see our objective, but we're not going to practice a private money elevator pitch. That's something that you should put together yourself, right? No more than 30 seconds. A private money elevator pitch was something that you should practice, right? Become really good at doing that. You should be so good at it that literally you can be at a bar drinking and you should be able to squeeze in, what you do, right? Just squeeze it in there. But like I said, always, as they say, ABC, always be closing, always be looking for money. All right, that's what we do. All right, so this is one of the things that, the main things that we have in our favor when we're looking for money and we're presenting opportunities to private lenders, because believe it or not, folks, there are more folks out there that's looking for folks like you. And when I first started, I just could not wrap my head around that someone was willing to give me $200,000 or $300,000 to do a real estate deal. At least when I started, it's probably about 150. Now it's like 300,000 just to do a flip, which is insane. 400,000 even if you're downtown. But this is the beauty of it, is that there are plenty of folks that are willing to loan money. You just have to have the right deal, right? And you have to build a relationship, right? You can't just go to someone and, if you're in our main meetings and when we split the group up and we say, hey, lenders go here and wholesalers go here and all, but you can't just go right in for the kill and say, hey, my name is so-and-so, you loan money, give me X amount of dollars. That's typically not going to work out for you the first, second, third, or maybe even fourth time, right? You got to build a relationship. I will tell you a deal, and Leslie knows about this deal. I've been knowing this gentleman and his wife probably for, I don't know, at least a decade. We just did our first private money deal early this year. The deal didn't work out, worked out for them, not for me. But that's a 10-year relationship that I built with someone, and they just loaned money to me this year. So it's not something that's just going to happen overnight, folks. You have to build a relationship with folks. They have to know that you're trustworthy, that you're a good person, the whole 9 yards. So it takes time. And then again, on the flip side, you can meet someone right here in the room tonight that says they're a private money lender and they're looking at loan money and they just know that you're part of NC RIA and they'll loan money to you, right? So I could tell you need to build a relationship, but then again, somebody might be in here tonight that's willing to loan money just off you being an NC RIA member. All right, so money sitting in the bank. Typically, this is what you're going to see, folks. And now, I don't know what the heck it is, all the inflation, everything that's going on, but typically is what you're going to see. You're lucky if you get 1%, all right? So you can look at that return on investment, ROI being return on investment, and then of course, private lending. And this is the beauty of private lending, and this is why lenders are looking to loan their money. And as you see, as we go through this, I mean, they have securities in here, things that are going to secure them and make them feel comfortable loaning, like a promissory note or deed of trust and all those good things. But you can just tell the difference. Like I said, 1% sitting in the bank at $1,000 or 12% annualized, right? So whenever you're loaning or whenever you're presenting terms to anyone, make sure you use that word annualized. Because if you're paying 12% per month, you're gonna lose money really quick, right? So it's always annualized. And some lenders, like the lender I just closed with, when paying them back their money, they had a 4-month guarantee. So if I finished that project in 2 months, they still were getting 4 months of interest, right? So most lenders will have that 4 months. There will be no pre-penalties or anything like that, but they typically will want at least a minimum of 3 or 4 months of interest on their money to make it worthwhile their time. And I think that's a great thing. You know, the lender's not going to loan you money for 30 days and then you're out, because guess what? That's the last time the lender's going to loan money to you. You want to build a long-lasting relationship with your lenders, right? Just like if you're doing X amount and you go into a bank, trust me, you're making money. The bank wants to make money. They want to continue to loan money to you. That's typically the way it works, folks. All right, so once again, taking a look, private lending versus traditional savings, and you can look at that 2% bank CD and see how that's earning money versus private money, right? So I know if I was a lender, I know which one I would want to do, and typically, once again, your lenders are going to do that. So when you're looking for private money, you're going to be anywhere from 8% up to like 12%, some 14%, some 16%. I have a private lender in South Carolina. We do 14%. They've been loaning money to me since 2016, and they're still at 14%. However, I will tell you that it's the most flexible private lender that I've ever had, right? So the beauty of private lenders, folks, is that when you run into a situation, you can pretty much deal with your private lender directly, right? You're dealing with a bank sometimes and you run into issues and you have to go through customer service and all this stuff. But like the lender that I just paid back, like I was in a situation dealing with the county revoked permits, and we're 8 months into it. We still haven't built. We've been paying interest on dirt for 2 lots, right? But I just always kept my lender in the loop. Would always let them know what's going on. And then it got to the point where I just saw that this deal wasn't going to go anywhere for now. And I said, hey, we need to cash out our lenders. So my wife and I, we talked to the lenders. They're like, hey, we need to go ahead and cash out. So whatever's in escrow need to go back to you. So typically whatever funds you do not use will sit in escrow with an attorney. So those funds went back, and then we ended up paying them interest on the money that we used. That loan total was $400,000. So we had a minimum of 4%, 4 months on that loan that we had to pay interest. So we paid interest on $400,000 for 4 months. And then the other 4 months, we paid just on the amount that was actually used, right? But once again, I don't look at that deal as a loss, because we had to pay that lender, I think, close to $24,000 in interest. But once again, folks, just listen to me here, right? Because like I said, I don't consider it a loss. If you are not successful in a deal, that's fine, because guess what? Over time, you will make that money back. But one thing what you always want to make sure that you do is you value your lender relationships, right? We made sure that our lender was paid back with interest. They may loan to us again, they may not, right? But they were aware that, hey, everything that we were going through, we made sure they got their money back. And that was the main thing that was beneficial to us, was making sure they got paid back. Because what will eventually happen is that those lots will build on them. And what we sort of know is that home values will probably continue to increase. So we will make more money in the end when we do build on those. So that's why I say we don't consider a loss, because we will build on those lots. All right, so once again, just taking a look at that, 2% versus 12% private money, and beautiful thing. All right, one of the things that you will definitely want to speak with your private lender about, and we're not talking hard money right now, folks, we're talking just pure private lending, because you will have folks that say, hey, private lending and it's hard money. But we're talking pure private right now. We'll get into some hard money here in a little bit. So when you're talking to private lenders, and most private lenders, folks, they already know this, right? They know the benefits, whether there's any benefits to the stock market or between private lending, and they know that. But once again, we just show the difference, right? Because although your private lenders know this, you want to convey to your private lenders that you're educated about this stuff, right? And then you may talk about something that they're not aware of, but it's more of like when you're talking to a private lender, you're not actually selling them on lending. you're selling them on you, right? So you always, if you watch Shark Tank, right, you'll hear some of those sharks say, hey, we're investing in you, right? So that's what it is. You're building a relationship, your lenders are investing in you. And of course, they're going to look at the deal too, right? If your deal is a turd, they're not going to loan money to you. But you need to consider that a good thing because they're going to make sure you don't lose money, right? So they're just not going to loan you money because you present a deal in front of them. The numbers still have to work, right? But once again, you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself, and of course, you're going to present that deal. All right, so what is wrong with this thing here? There we go. All right, so you did hear me mention the things that protects a lender. The biggest thing is that, you know, deed of trust, and most of them will want a private, a promissory note, right? They want you to personal guarantee it, which means that you as an individual will also personal guarantee it. Now, some folks will get hung up on that about personal guarantee. I typically do not, because I know in the end I'm gonna pay them back. Just like I just told you about the deal that my wife and I just ended up paying the lender back. So we're typically going to pay them back. I would tell you, don't get hung up on that. You will talk to private hard money lenders that will pretty much always want you to personal guarantee it along with them. But just don't get hung up on that. It's like, oh, I got a personal guarantee it. No, we don't go into this to defraud anyone or anything like that. We pay people back their money. So don't get hung up on that. Another thing that you don't see on here, and I think I need to add this to this, is that you want to make sure also that you secure insurance on these properties, right? So anytime that you secure money from a private lender, hard money lender, anyone like that, you need to make sure they are on your insurance as additionally insured. And that's on the insurance for this specific property, because you're going to get insurance just for that property that you are flipping or building at that point, right? Additionally insured, you want to make sure they're covered, because if something happens to your property, you want to make sure that you're not paying $300,000 back yourself. You want to make sure that insurance is in place and that you're covered and that your lenders are covered. All right. Any questions to this point? All right, so talk about the type of properties that you buy, right? So we know that, yeah, we're looking for distressed properties. We all know that, but be a little bit more like precise in what you're looking for. Like what you go after, what type of areas that you look for properties. If you've been to any of my classes, you hear me talking about other markets, right? Tertiary markets. You know, folks always want to invest in Raleigh and Durham, and you know, it's the price point right now is just hard to get into a lot of these properties. Like I know, like Leslie and I, we were, was it Worthdale, and then was the other one, I think Longview. Leslie, I remember Leslie had a deal over in Longview. Like some of those areas, like we could get into those areas like below 6 figures, like years ago. Like I just got a deal on the contract, and if you want that credibility on the Estimated Repairs Workshop, you saw that property 805 Carlisle. That property I would have paid about 65 grand like a decade ago for a flip, and I had it on the contract for 235. Well, I have it on the contract right now for 235 as a flip, folks. So talk about type properties you buy, where you buy those properties. Once again, you do not have to stay in the triangle to buy properties. There are other markets that are up and coming, and they may be lower price point markets to get into, but you can still, folks, make 6 figures. I got a buddy that buys properties in Burlington, and they'll buy properties in Burlington for 135 and they'll sell for 180, 185. They only put like 30,000 into it. So you do the math, right? Lower price point to get in, they're still making a good return on those properties. So don't feel that you have to just be in this area because you live in Raleigh. There are folks that I know that are doing stuff out of state, right? But in order to do that, you need to have a good team, right? A good team in place. Okay, let's go. All right, I've already covered the interest rates. And like I said, 14, 16%, I've done as high as that. And folks will say, well, why? Why would you do it that percent? I don't care, folks, because if you look over here to the left, ROI, return on investment, that's all I care about, right? So a lot of folks will talk about the MAO, the maximum allowable offer for properties. I know we had that question come up a few weeks ago in the estimated repairs workshop, as far as the MAO, and Leslie and I, we talked about, we look at mainly ROI because the numbers may not work for me on an MAO, and I may never get a deal. But if I'm still going to make $70,000 and I can offer a little bit more, do I really care about the Mayo formula? Not that you shouldn't, right? Because if you read my disclaimer in the beginning, I'm not telling you not to I'm not telling you to ignore that Mayo formula. What I'm telling you is that I look at return on investment, right? So if there's a return on investment of 5%, I typically will not do that deal. But I'm just here to tell you that anything that's close to like double digits, I'm going to do that deal. Even now, like I used to say before, oh, I'm not going to do a $40,000 deal. I'll do a $40,000 deal for return on investment, right? 40 grand is 40 grand. So don't shy away from deals because the Mayo formula tells you, oh, you can only offer this amount. But then if you look at the return on investment and the ROI says you're going to make about 60 grand, well, if you want to do that deal, there's several folks on here that will, including myself, that will do that deal if you want to pass it away. So don't get hung up on numbers, folks. Don't get hung up on interest rates because I'll pay 20% if I'm making 70 grand. I don't care. I don't count my lender's money. I don't count the wholesaler's money. It just has to be a good deal and the numbers have to work for me for what I'm looking for. So first or second lien position. So there's a deal that I was working on. It was in Georgetown up in DC. And I had a gentleman that was also working in to bring some investors in. I think the smallest investor wanted to invest like five grand. And I'm like, I don't know what we could do with that, right? I mean, money is money, but we're not going to have like people in fifth and sixth lien position. That doesn't make sense. So if you have a deal where you having like multiple lenders, like they can loan in a lending trust or something like that, or put together where they all are in the first position. So don't feel that, you know, if you have a deal that there are multiple lenders that you can't do that deal. It's just that it needs to be structured correctly. So you need to find an attorney structured correctly where everyone is either in first position or first or second lien position. And then you work out the terms with each lender individually of what percentage is going to be based on that lender and based on how much they're going to loan you in that deal. Right. So 6 to 12-month terms, I typically always would want to do 12-month terms. Now, I was in a deal before. I always tell my little stories, right? So I was in a deal before where I got into it and I only did a 6-month term. And this was in Durham, which is why I typically don't invest in Durham anymore. But everything that could have happened on that house happened, right? They stole my electric wire in that house twice, right? Rewired it, stole it, rewired again, stole it. A tree fell on that house during that. And then we had something else happen to the house. So all that happened during that 6-month term. That 6-month term ended up going to 8. I requested another extension from my lender. They said no, right? So we did a deed in lieu of foreclosure, basically signed that property back over to the lender. We lost about 50 grand on that deal, my wife and I. But I always tell folks that because if everything in this business is not going to be a win, right? And it's not that you're going to lose money on every single deal. You may have a deal where you projected to make 50 grand, you may only make 25, right? You didn't make what you thought you were going to make. But anybody in this business that tells you, oh, I've hit out the park every single time, I don't know about that, right? Like I said, you may not make what you intend to going into it, but everything is not going to be perfect on every single deal. So just remember that. And then, like I said, everything is recorded. So you need to have a good attorney, right? And I use that term loosely, right? Just like general contractor is a good general contractor. You just need to make sure you find the right attorney, because any attorney, and folks, you don't like when you're looking to put or add people to your team, you don't just go and say, hey, I'm looking for an attorney. Can you join my team? You have to ask the right questions, right? So, hey, how quickly can you close the deal? If I bring you a deal on Friday, can you close next Friday? Oh, no, it's going to take me about 30, 45 days. Xmark, right? They're just a traditional attorney. You need someone that when you call them, that they can close the deal in 7 or 14, 21 days or whatever it is, right? So those things that you have to ask those questions. All right, so here's where you can pull money from. And so you have to educate your lenders, right? because a lot of folks don't realize like they have a lot of money that they have access to, but they don't know they have access to that money. Meaning that you see on here, home equity line of credit, right? Right now, we know that folks have probably a lot of equity in their homes that they can use to loan on a lot of real estate deals. So yeah, right now, interest rates are high, they're at 6%, but if I get to do a refinance and I'm refinancing 6%, I can still loan my money out at 12, right? So you're still making money, right? So just educate your lenders, because once again, they sometimes have money that they don't know that they have access to. You know, lines of credits. I know lenders that have taken out lines of credits of 4 or 5% to loan that money out at 10, 11, or 12%. So there's a lot of different things that lenders can do. The gentleman I mentioned earlier that we're going to bring multiple lenders. These lenders weren't aware that they need to have a Roth IRA or solo 401k. These were athletes, right? They just had a bunch of money that they just want to get rid of. But no, you got to educate your lenders too that, yeah, I would love to take their money, but hey, let's do it the right way, right? So when you can protect your lenders and show them how you're protecting them, trust me, they will be your lenders for life. You just got to educate them. Let's keep it moving. All right, so this is a typical cycle of how it works, right? This typical cycle of how it works. And you can see, right here, you have your private lender, the documents I talked about earlier of securing that loan, which is your deed of trust, promissory note, making sure your lenders are also on your insurance for that property. And you purchase that home, renovate it, home and sold, you pay back that principal payment. Now, we would just all think it would be that simple, right? But I got a deal that I'm going through right now. Like I said, 805 Carlisle. We were supposed to close on the 14th. We still haven't closed yet. We'll probably close like November 2nd, because guess what? Things don't go the way we think they should. So what you don't see in here is that when you're going through this process and you have your private lender, and I probably need to add this slide, but there's an attorney in here somewhere, right? And a title company. So right now we're hung up in title. Oh, there is, well, title deeds. We're hung up in title because it was an estate, and I'm not going to mention the attorney's name, but it pissed me the hell off because I fired him. So we were supposed to close. We didn't close because this attorney was going on vacation on Saturday, and it was Tuesday, and he told me he would not look at our paperwork until Saturday. I'm like, well, if you're going on vacation Saturday, why are you waiting until Saturday to look at our paperwork? Needless to say, the attorney never looked at our paperwork. Then he came back and said, hey, there's a title issue. We knew there was not a title issue. All you do was speak with the attorney that did the estate, right? So we ended up finding another attorney down in Fuquay that was literally probably 2 blocks from the actual the estate attorney. So I don't foresee like any issues now. Hopefully we'll get closed here on the 2nd for that Carlisle property. But that's, once again, folks, is just having the right folks that are on your team, right? So, I mean, this attorney was referred to me because typically I only work off referrals, but still it was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm just not that important enough because first deal with him, and, you know, he just blew me off. So I just say, no big deal. I mean, there's plenty of attorneys out here that will close deals for you. All right, so you heard me mention mortgage deed, hazard insurance, promissory note, folks. So look, don't like get these forms like off the internet and say, oh, you're going to close your deal. Hire an attorney, hire the right folks, right? Ask around within the REIA, different meetings, who folks use for insurance, right? But this mortgage deed and this promissory note, that needs to come from an attorney, right? And if you want an example, there's plenty of us that have examples of deals we've closed, but those documents 1 and 3 need to come from an attorney. And number 2, network and find out, some good companies out there as far as your insurance. I switch them up a lot. All right, so your elevator pitch. You heard me mention earlier about your elevator pitch. These are some of the things that you may want to include in your elevator pitch. Now, I know what folks are saying. How can I create an elevator pitch if I haven't done a deal? Blah, blah, blah. I've heard that so many times. But I will also tell folks, you need to leverage the REIA, right? Because there are plenty of folks in the REIA that will joint venture deals with you, right? If you bring someone a deal within the REIA and say, hey, look, I'm willing to do this 50-50 with you. Hey, I'm brand new. Can I use you during my elevator pitch with securing lenders or funding, right? Because I'm here to tell you, like, we have one lender, Ponce, right? Ponce Moody, who's one of our vendors. I get emails from Ponce all the time saying, hey, someone wants to build new construction, but they have no experience. Will you JV with them? Ponce, will they do 50-50? Yes. Yes, I will JV with them, right? So Ponce will actually reach out to me on their behalf to JV deals with them, right? Because once again, if you're new, a lot of lenders will feel a little shaky of loaning money to you, but if you're linked up with someone that has some experience, right, then they will loan on the deal. So just don't think that because you don't have any experience that you cannot do deals in real estate. You can. You just need to joint venture with other investors that are within the REIA. But like I said, take a look at this slide. These are some things that you want to add into your elevator pitch. Now, I don't know if you're getting like 30 to 50% below market, at least not in this market in Raleigh, but I talked to somebody the other day, they got a deal. I think they wanted 175 to sell and they got it for 125, right? But that's about negotiation because I know he was a realtor and he wanted to negotiate. But like I said, I'm not saying you can't get 30 to 50 below market value. I'm just telling you it's going to be extremely hard. There's a lot of competition out there. You may have to go to other markets, but it's doable, but it's extremely hard, right? But these are all things that your lender wants to hear. Yes.
Lionel, one question, I think before you get off, one person asked, do you recommend that the attorney you have on your team is based in the same state that you are purchasing the property?
Yes.
Yes.
Because every attorney can't do business in other states. So they would have to take the bar exam in every single state. So yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Is a must. And just with that too, that same question. So I would tell you the same would go with contractors and also especially general contractor. Like you can be licensed in more than one state as a general contractor, but it's the same thing with contractors and all that good stuff. Same thing. I just had someone come to me today, like, hey, are you licensed in Florida? No, but I have a NASLA exam license, which covers 14 states and Florida is one. So I just have to take some other exams in Florida if I want to do business with them. Which I will because they do disaster relief and they need general contractor, but also not only attorneys but also other folks that you're going to look to do business with.
Absolutely.
All right, so here's a example of an outline. The first one goes without question, folks. Like I said, you can't like just go to a lender and say, hey, I want to borrow $400,000, and they're going to look at you like, okay, but good for you, right? So you got to build that rapport and all these other things that are written in here. Like I said, and this is an example, right? So you can take this as an example. And if you're trying to like take notes, should have said this in the beginning. I typically send the slides out after every meeting. So if you haven't received these slides before, I will send them out. So if I'm talking too fast and you're trying to write this stuff down, don't worry about it. You will get the slides and you can take a look at some of this stuff afterwards and then go ahead and copy or add to your elevator pitch or whatever you want to do. So don't worry about having to write this down because I know someone was at least doing that. All right, so here's your typical private money credibility packet. And this just, like I said, this is just an example, right, of some things that you just want to start out with. I mean, like I said, just having a good logo. I do a class on that too of just things that you need, other things you need to, as far as building credibility, like a logo and business cards and website and all those typical type of things. Make sure your business is incorporated correctly, all those type of things. But this here is private money, right? So building your private money credibility kit, your business, who are you? Some of the things that we talked about earlier, you'll see that if you look at that example of private lending, right? Risk rewards, like that was in my slides earlier, right? So you can just swipe it, copy and paste, and put that in your private money credibility packet. So build a good packet. Once again, don't think that you have to do it on your own, right? There are other folks within the REIA that will joint venture with you on deals. You just have to network, right? Network. All right, so getting that commitment, what does it take to get that commitment? And like I said, I'm not going to read the slides, but you can read them. But that's the main thing is, I will tell you that most lenders will not fill out a private lender information sheet, right? They're not like filling out an application with you, you have to just build rapport, right? You have to build a relationship with that lender. Like I said, I have lenders that I've been doing, and like the lenders that I've built rapport with, like I converted those lenders. Like the lender right now that's doing my gap funding on 805 Carlisle, that was a lender that actually flipped the house for downtown Raleigh. And she put that money in her account and she said, one day we're going to do business together. That was like 3 years ago. And we're doing business together 3 years later. Right. So remember, when you flip a deal or a house sometimes, and your lender or whomever is making quite a bit of money, right? Or they're loaning quite a bit of money, or maybe even that seller that you purchased that property from, and they're making quite a bit of money off you. Don't just let that just be the end of it, right? Try to convert that seller. Try to convert them to a private lender, right? Your private lenders will come from, you won't believe where you can get a lender from half the time, but you need to always be closing, folks. So just because you just bought a property from a lender and they made like $250,000. Well, to me, I'm like, okay, they made $250,000, but I can show them how to make more money on top of that $250,000, right? So that's what you want to look at. Hey, how can I keep this lender? How can I, show them how to grow their money? Because that's what we do. All right, so this was, matter of fact, this same lender that I was telling you.
I guess draw back through the
Is that a question or?
I think she's just, Brittany, you might want to mute, hon. There you go. Thank you, bud.
All right, so this house here, actually, this was a lender out of South Carolina that loaned on this house here, this particular house that's in Cary, and they are still my lender until this day. They're doing a deal right now, actually in Garner with me. So once again, they were in another group with me, and I just got to know them. I was their coach at the time, and they were just like, "Hey, we want to loan money with someone." I'm like, me, right? So always, like I said, money can come from anywhere, because they were looking to flip properties in real estate, and they haven't flipped the property till this day. They just been flipping their money. So once again, this house here is in Cary. I'll go through. So this is like, when I did this house, I think this was like my 4th house or something like that that I ever flipped. And so I took these pictures here and I put these pictures like in my credibility pack. And I wanted to show like, hey, this is what I do. So this house here had a tree that fell on it, had been empty for 2 years, and it had a big hole in the master bedroom, and rain was just like pouring into this house every time it rained. So you can imagine how our floors look. There are hardwood floors that look like a ski slope in the house is what they look like. But kitchen at the time, old crusty looking kitchen. And then we turned into this, right? So when you can take like a before and after and put that together and show your lenders, like that's what's going to give you credibility, because you can talk all day long, but we know what they say about pictures, where pictures are worth like everything. So when you can show them pictures of, hey, this is what we do, we take it from this and we take it and make it look like this. Now you see my little cursor, right? So like these floors here, if you see this little strip right here, like these floors here were brand new. These floors here were 1950, and you would never know, right? But this type of stuff you want to show your lenders, like, hey, look, we do stuff like this, right? And we make it look exactly the same. So 1950 floors, brand new floors, right? So stuff you want to be able to show your lenders. Let me go back. And then sizzle features, right? Always have like sizzle features on your deals, right? Hey, we put, pot fillers in there. There's absolutely a couple $100 to do that, right? Just little things that you want to be able to point out to your lender, some of the things that you do that separate you from everyone else. Because there are a lot of folks out here that flip properties, folks. They do the bare minimum, and their properties look like boo-boo. I've been in a lot of them, right? But you want to show your lenders like, hey, if I loan you my money, if they loan money to you, it's not going to take you 3 or 4 months to sell your property, because guess what? You do this type of work, right? You do quality work, right? You don't just throw things together. All right, bathroom. So this is a bathroom. Once again, horrible, hideous, disgusting bathroom. And then we turned into this. Same as living room. So you'll see here on this side, we actually opened up this wall over here. We turned into that. And this was the before of that house, and then this was after. And this is another house we did in Raleigh, right up off of Capitol. And here's our after picture, right? And then you can see like this little divider in between. Like I literally had a little spiral book that I would actually like pass out to my lenders. So when you start putting together your credibility packet, you don't just want to just give them like something just like, oh, staple pages, right? You want to make sure that when you print this stuff out, like you go to Office Depot, or you go to Staples or something like that, you have it printed out on like some nice, good quality paper. You may want to laminate them. So this stuff can get expensive, so don't go crazy with it. Well, if you don't laminate it, you may want to have them print like on a card stock. Just remember, like you are presenting yourself. This is almost like your resume to your lenders. Like, hey, here's my resume. This is what I do, right? So make it, you want to have some nice like cardstock or nice laminated paper or something like that to where you can present this to your lenders, show that, hey, you do good quality stuff. This is all about NC State, another property we did. This was pretty much a quick in and out lipstick type property, carpet paint. I think we opened up one little wall or something like that. Yep. So let's take some questions.
So Lionel, I have one question. With the private lenders you work with, are most of them willing to lend with little or no money down? That's the first question. I'll let you answer that and then go to his second.
Okay, so private lenders. So when you're working with a private lender, and I will tell you from my standpoint, and Leslie's the same way. Like if you're working with a private lender, my goal is get 100% OPM, other people's money. There's I think maybe one or two deals that I've ever put any money into. And that's because I was working with a hard money lender, right? So like this deal on 805 Carlisle, like right now, this one's a hard money lender, but I have a gap lender, the lady I told you about that I made some money for. So I'm still into it for this, zero. I'm not even paying closing costs. She's paying closing costs. I'm not even paying monthly payments because she's loaned enough money to where that monthly payment is going to be made out of that money. Like folks, I'm literally not paying any money whatsoever for this deal. So it's a 90-10. She's bringing 10% to the deal. So even still hard money, I typically always try to get 100%. And if you're working with private, you're just going to be 100%.
Yeah. And the second question, you also talked about establishing business credit in order to borrow from more traditional lending institutions. Is there a time or place when private money versus bank money is better? Ooh, I know that answer.
So yeah, if you want to answer, but I will tell you that private money, to me, private money is always, I'm gonna say always, but 99.9% better because if I have a good relationship with a private lender, I can pick up a phone like tonight and say, hey, look, I need X amount for this deal and I got to close in 7 days, right? I can call a bank, but I'm gonna have to wait till the next day, say, hey, I need this. Like I'll give you an example, like this same deal, I'm working with a hard money lender. Like I had to pay folks, I don't know, anywhere in the world where it costs $1,500 to do a freaking appraisal. I had to pay $1,500 for an appraisal that's still 2 weeks, took 2 weeks to get an appraisal. My private lender doesn't ask for an appraisal. My private lender just looks at the comps. My private lender goes off my experience and say, hey, look, the comps say 360, but I'm listed for 400, right? So that's the difference that, yeah, bank money is good money. I'm not saying it's not good money, right? But you will typically go through a little bit more red tape with a bank versus a private lender.
A bunch more red tape, and they're going to check your personal credit. They're going to check your collateral. They're going to check all your stuff like that. Whereas a private money investor, it's what between the two parties, what you agree upon. It could be anything.
Yep. It
could be anything. It's what the private lender, the terms they will agree to, what they're willing to take and what you're willing to pay. So it's not like an institution where you have to fill out all sorts of stuff. It's whatever the deal is that you make it with a private lender. Yeah. And Kenesha, that was Tamara White has the deal on the multifamily. Y'all need to just, oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Tamara.
Yeah. And I will say on my private money lender, mine is a great source. Mine is a friend of ours that's a doctor. And, we all know that doctors keep making money no matter what the problem is, the economy or whatever. And, you know, they have a 401k that they might get 0.5% on. You know, I can go to him 8%. He doesn't ask a question. He doesn't even ask where the house is. It's what do you need? How long do you need? When do you think you'll pay it back? We pay no, like Lionel, no payments, no nothing. But we've always returned his money. So there's great resources. Brittany's asking, this is in reference to establishing a business bank account. I heard that it was difficult for real estate investors to open a bank account due to the riskiness. Is there a certain NAICS code I should use?
Or you're talking NAICS code, so you're talking like government stuff, right? So Brittany, I have like 5 bank accounts, and I literally can walk into a bank. I went into Truist Bank 2 weeks ago, and I told them exactly what I do. I said, hey, I build and I'm also a residential redeveloper, right? So, and it's not that you can't open a bank account, but a lot of times people go, oh, I just flip homes. And, you know, when you're trying to borrow money, flips is like a bad word to them, right? Not that you can't open an account, because as long as you have your tax ID number, your operating agreement, and whatever from the Secretary of State, you can open an account. They cannot deny you an account. So I'm not sure who told you that, because I need to close business accounts. I just have too many. I don't use them.
Yeah. And one of our vendors, guys, is People's Bank. They are used to then, you know, what we do. And also a lot of small community banks. I deal with a lot of them, Dogwood, a couple of those. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
So far, that's the questions that we have. If there's anything else, please put it in the chat. If not, we want to be respectful of you guys' time. So make sure you put it in the chat.
And I will tell you this to piggyback on like what Karen and Leslie mentioned earlier about the difference between private and traditional. Like, I've been doing this since 2005, folks. This same lender I'm telling you about, they asked me for my last year history of building homes and flipping houses. That's like the crap I had to go through. And I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time. They're like, we don't care. We need to see what you've been doing for the last whatever. And I'm like, well, during COVID, I didn't do much. Okay, well, we don't care. This source. That's the type of crap you go through, folks. I'm just telling you. So it doesn't matter that you're seasoned. I still had to go through the same crap, right? So that's the difference between private and traditional.
Did we answer Bonita's question?
Private lender, OPM, other people's money. My question, number one, when do you have to pay back the money? Number two, do you have to set it up under your personal or business name?
So it's private. Typically you will pay, you will not make any payments. You will pay once you sell that deal. And then it's always going to be set up in your business. Like, you don't want to do anything in your personal, because if something goes wrong on that deal or whatever it is, then come in and take all your personal assets, right? You remember earlier I said I like my private lenders, I don't personal guarantee anything. I may give them a personal guarantee, but like they don't typically ask for it, because I just do that. That's just who I am. I just personal guarantee or deed of trust. But you want to do everything in your business, right? You don't want to do anything in your personal. Everything in your business, private. Like I say, everything's typically paid on the back end when you sell the property with private lending.
Okay, Alex, did we answer your question about hard money lending, or did you had to ask something specific?
I guess I'm just curious on the difference there, if there is a difference, and just how you like in the process of going about it, or if it's the same.
Well,
I know it's a rabbit hole, but
yeah, hard money is generally considered anything that is not between you and a private lender.
right.
It's considered hard money, whether it be one of our lenders, vendor member lenders, that's considered hard money. It depends, but they're generally a little bit easier because they're more experienced with real estate investing. That our vendor lenders are a little less strict than a traditional bank.
Yep.
They will accept different forms rather than jumping through all the hoops of collateral and personal credit. They'll lend more on the deal itself. They will analyze it for you. And if they turn you down, they've just saved you from yourself.
Yep.
Okay.
Because they know you're not gonna, it's not a winning deal. So when a hard money lender, when you go to one of our vendor lenders and you say, I have this deal and here's what I think the numbers are, they will again analyze it as well. And if they come back and say, no, we're not going to lend you the money on that deal, you say, thank you very much and walk away from it because it's not a deal.
Okay.
So Alex,
Okay, so that's generally what hard money is, anything besides you dealing with your dentist or a person who has 401k or IRA money or a whole bunch of cash under their mattress or however they keep it. That is just one individual person that's considered a private money lender, PML. Anybody else that's a business in business for lending money is a hard money lender.
that's right. So typically, Alex, you look at 1, 2, and 3, right? Number one being I want a private lender. Number 2, I would go to hard money. Number 3, I would go to traditional. That's typically what the route I go. And then number 1, I don't fill out an application. Number 2 and 3, I'm going to fill out an application.
Okay.
So one other question, with the market starting to soften, how do you convince lenders that real estate is still a good investment?
A hell of a lot better than the stock market.
Yeah, and that's the key. That's the key
Very.
right there. I still don't have to convince lenders like this
They know.
property, 805 Carlisle, like I don't have to convince them at all because guess what? If I don't perform, guess what they take? You heard Leslie mention, they're loan against the asset, folks.
Mhm.
I mean, you have some lenders out there, they like if they're like really unscrupulous lenders, they can care less. If you fail, they're going to take your property.
Yeah,
So they're still secured. They are going to loan money because they're loaned against the asset. You know, I told you earlier that hey, they get to know them and they're investing in you, but also they're investing in assets. So that asset is more beneficial than them than you because if you don't perform, guess what? They take the asset, they still own the property because even though they're loaning money to you, they still actually own that property with you, right? So they're loaning against the asset.
Yep. Can private lenders be used for anything? Flips, fix and flip, buy and hold, rentals, long or short?
Yeah, it's whatever you and that lender, whatever you agree to in terms. But typically a private lender is going to loan money to you for all those, right? But anything where you're looking like personal, like, hey, can you loan to me to buy a car? Get out of here. They're not going to, no. So it needs to be something where they can invest their money in and, it's something they can reach out to and get that asset in case you don't perform and then they can take that asset. But yes, all the above, they can loan on that.
Yep. If borrowing under your business, is your personal credit still a factor?
depends on who
Yeah.
you're talking to.
That's,
We just said it 1, 2, and 3. If you're going pure personal, I've never had to show anything with a private lender, right?
No,
2 and 3, some hard money lenders, they'll pull a hard pull on your credit. Some will do a soft pull. Banks, hard pull all day long on your credit.
yep. It'll affect your credit score if you deal with an
every time.
institution
yeah, every time.
every time.
Alex, you've got one more quick question and follow up to what you just explained about hard lending, but I don't see the question. Do you want to unmute and
He's
ask?
unmuted.
Yeah,
Alex?
I just figured I would ask it real quick.
Yeah.
So when finding a property that's appealing that you think, you want to explore, is that something that you then wait and then go to the hard lender about if you're going
Get
to
it
go that
under
route?
contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
They won't look, if you don't have it under contract, they're not going to talk to you.
Okay. So,
If
that's
it's a deal, the money is there. You can come to any one of us at NC REIA. The money is there if it is a good deal. But get the contract signed first, because if you don't, hard money, some private money. I mean, it depends. Some of our NC REIA members that do private lending, they're not going to talk to you unless you have it under contract. They don't work on ifs or maybes. or
Gotcha.
If I can get it under contract, they're not going to go through the whole thing with you until you actually have a deal.
okay. So you don't,
If you're working with a hard money lender and say you've been working with them for 2-3 years now, and you're just like flipping
Yeah.
100 properties in, you may have VIP at that point, and they don't have to pull.
Yeah,
but
they don't
that's-
do any of that
yeah,
stuff,
you-
but you have to establish the relationship. You
Exactly.
have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to put
that's-
the work in.
Yeah.
so if
the-
you found a deal that you would just have to, is there a way to know, I guess, how much of your own money you're putting down on this property of your own before going to talk to them?
No, it depends on the lender.
Okay,
what they'll require. They're all different. Some will
Okay.
fund private. It depends. Some will want you to do points.
Yep.
So not necessarily 10% down, but I mean, if you want to borrow $100,000, they'll charge you 12% and 3 points, and they will want the points up front, just so that's $3,000 they'll want up front, just to know you have skin in the game. You can negotiate when you pay back. You might have to make monthly interest payments. A lot of lenders want a monthly payment from you. Some of them don't.
Yeah.
My lenders, I pay the whole ball of wax when the house sells.
And then some lenders will escrow, like if you're using hard money,
Yeah.
some hard money lenders will escrow like into your first 3 months of payments, just to
Yeah.
like help you.
You
they'll
have to
escrow
prove
in.
that you have, you have to prove that you have the money to make the first 3 months interest payments. So it just depends on who you talk to. We've got numerous vendor lenders on our website. You can reach out to every single one of them and find out what their terms are, but you must have the deal under contract or they're not going to talk to you.
Yeah,
that's good. Thank you.
All righty.
absolutely. Thanks for the information, Lionel. Do you hire an attorney to draft terms of the agreement with your private lender? Oh, that's a good one.
Well,
Answer,
that's an easy one.
yeah, answer is yes.
Well, I would say yes, have your attorney draft you a purchase and just a private money purchase and sale agreement. It's not going to be the realtor one where that's 14 pages long. It can be something very succinct, and it just lays out the terms, and you can use, once you have that template, you can use it over and over and over again. But, you know, and if there are any changes to it, you can make changes and make sure everybody initials the changes. Everybody just has to agree when they sign is all.
Yeah.
But I would go to an attorney and get an initial purchase and sale agreement, or not a purchase and sale, but a lending, a lending agreement that is actually drafted by an attorney that has, it lays out, so you're not missing anything. It lays out all your terms, and then I would just recycle that.
Yeah,
So you're not paying every time.
And folks too, like you'll see, like Leslie was just talking, and I think we say succinct at the same time, right? And then
Mhm.
like Karen, so what you will see too is like, because people will jump on the Zoom calls and they'll just do a class here and then they'll go to YouTube. But folks, we always tell you, like, you have to invest in your education. I know Leslie and I went through some of the same education. Like we use like I was getting ready to ask her about to explain points, and before I even asked the question, she was like, she already did it, right? So it's like this stuff will become like second nature, and like she was already answering the question before I even asked. And same thing with Karen's, like we're like in each other's head because we know, like, okay,
We've all been through the
That's
training and we have
exactly.
paid for it.
invest in yourself, folks, because I'm telling you that is just invaluable to invest in yourself. And then it's like, I mean, literally, she's talking, I'm sitting up going, yep, she's gonna say this and that, and Karen's
Yeah.
talking, I'm like, yep, she's gonna say this and that. So
Yeah.
that's like invest in yourselves, folks. Trust me, it will pay off.
and also, rely on us. If you have questions, throw them out there to us. That's why we're here to help you to go through these things. Jamala asked, if you put a deal under contract before going to the hard money lender, what happens if you decide not to move forward with the deal based on the hard money lender's decision not to fund the deal? Do you just lose your deposit?
You're
So
not talking to just one lender, though. If one
Yeah.
won't fund it, find another one, or find another one, or find another one.
And it's
Yeah.
called DD, right? You don't like set up like a 2-day due diligence. Like you want to get the longest due diligence as possible, right? So you
Yeah.
don't lose your money in case you have to pull out, at least 21 days due diligence if you can. But get along as due diligence as possible so where you don't lose your money.
And then if it's getting down to the wire and you still don't have financing, reach out to somebody who can help you.
Yeah. And I know, like for me, my husband and I do a lot of commercial. So we know up front, I mean, we've been doing it, I'll tell my age, we've been doing it 30 plus years. We know what lenders we're going to. And as far as me doing my, personal flips and all, I know who I'm going to. I've already established those relationships. They know me, they know I'm going to pay it back no matter what. Guys, those of us that are old enough to have gone through the 2008 downturn, you learn who the people are that are going to work with you and who they aren't. And, no matter what happened, what we had my family in 2008, we made sure they were paid.
Mhm,
Those people remember you.
mhm.
Trust me, they remember you.
They've got to understand that you would sell. I would sell my own personal house to make sure my lenders are paid. I would never, ever renege on
Yeah.
a private
and-
investor's money, ever.
You know, we have these vendors then that are lenders that are there at every meeting. They come now to
Yeah,
Wilmington meeting and Charlotte and Raleigh.
they're there.
Talk to them, establish the relationship, get to know them. That's networking 101.
Mhm.
Tamara, I'm butchering your name. Is it Tamara or?
Camera,
It's Tamara, like camera. I tell people
Okay.
camera.
it rhymes with
From
camera.
now on, I'm gonna butcher it. I have a question about getting accepted offer. Do you want to ask it verbally?
Yes, I do. So it always seems like a catch-22 if to get an accepted offer. I'm in this situation now with a property I'm dealing with in Illinois. I want an investor. I'm close to getting an investor, but the seller, who's an agent, wants me to make an offer, and I am not financially capable of doing the deal by myself, but with the investor, I could. So my question is, how do you bring a deal to an investor if you don't have the offer? And then how do you do the offer if you're not financially strong enough on your own?
You don't, but that's the point. You shouldn't be financially strong on your own to do a deal.
Right. But you're saying that
That's what the lending part comes, that's what it's for, is that you
Mhm.
don't use your own money. You use OPM, other people's money. So you
Okay.
just need to make sure that you establish, you talk to lenders, find out what they require. And if some of them will finance like Ponce, like Lionel said, Ponce Moody. He's got investors that will work with new people all the time, and he will reach out to them. He's got a network. Did you
Mhm.
all know? I don't know if you're all aware of this because I don't think we pushed this, Karen. But did you know that with your subscription to Connected Investors, did you know that Connected Investors has a huge network of private lenders?
Yes, they do.
And you can
really
put your
do.
deal
Yeah.
out there, goes cross country.
Yeah.
And they have a
Tamara-
huge network of
Crowdfunding.
private lenders, and that's what
Yeah.
these lenders do. They lend on real estate deals, and somebody will analyze it for you. And if it's a deal, they're going to give you money.
Yeah, and
No.
Tamara, I think one of the
Mhm.
things, if I'm correct, you live in California now, you're moving here, correct?
Mhm. Yes.
So in her defense, she hasn't established, she's moving here, but
Local,
she's not
right.
here yet. She hasn't
Mhm.
established local. A good source for you, if you're now a member as of today, I know
Yes.
that. Go on our website. We've
Mhm.
mentioned the name Ponce Moody several times.
Reach out to
I
him.
wrote it down. Yeah.
Call Ponce, tell him we told you to call.
Mhm.
Like Lionel said, he may have some people that, with you not being here yet and knowing the lay in the land and the people, he may be a big asset to help you.
Okay.
So reach out to him, tell him we told you. He's been a vendor of ours for years.
Mm,
Very loyal to NCREA. So reach out to
Mhm.
him. He may be
I
a
will.
good resource for you. But again, I'll tell you, come on to
Mhm.
our have needs and wants.
Yes.
Because we have people that come on that this is what they're looking for. So make
Mhm.
sure again, I know you're moving here, but you're not here yet.
Yes.
So make
Mhm.
sure you use it in that way.
Okay. I will reach out to Ponce today via email or something. I'll leave a message or reach out emails. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey,
Tamara, also-
Benita, nice one.
Go, Benita.
You go,
And
girl.
Benita, just so you know, Benita, every fourth Tuesday of the month, we have a Connected Investor training on how to use the platform, how to use it. I do it. So jump on, make sure, I think it's next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Fourth Tuesday of the month. It's on Zoom. Anybody and everybody can jump on, whether you've got Connected Investors or you want it, jump on.
And then Tamara also, don't let, 'cause I heard you say agent, right? As soon as I heard that, my little ear, don't let agents back you into a corner, into a
Corner.
deal, because
No.
remember, they're on that C word, right? They're commission, right? So
Mhm.
don't let them just force you and back you into a deal, say, hey, somebody else is gonna get it. You know what I tell them?
No,
Mhm.
Good, let them get it,
Yeah.
right? So
It-
if
it
it's there
happens that-
for you, it's gonna be there for you.
Yeah, it happens on this particular deal, the one outside of Chicago. The owner is an agent and she's the listing agent. So normally I don't like to deal with agents, but she owns the property, so
okay.
it's kind of
But
hard to
she
avoid her.
should, she discloses to you that she is an agent and she should be
Oh, yeah.
acting as a seller, not an agent.
Right.
Yeah, she is. She did refer me to one of her people in her office. Is that customary that
Well,
she would not represent her
that's-
own property?
mm,
I
I'd
don't
be
know
I don't-
why, I mean.
I'd
I
like
don't
to
know
have
why-
my own
if
agent.
it's, is it, it's listed on, it's on the MLS, it's a
It
listing?
is,
Okay,
yes.
then yes.
Yeah. It's an
Have your own.
MLS.
But she'll get a
So-
referral fee for giving it to another agent.
So I'm not familiar with all the real estate law, so she's listed as, the owner is listed as the listing agent, but when people are actually serious about the property and want to write an offer, she would not write an offer for
No,
her own
so
property?
you need to have, just think of it as an attorney, right? If you're, you know, on trial for murder, right? And the prosecutor's prosecuting you, do you want to use a prosecutor?
No,
Hmm.
no.
Right, so same
So
thing
you
with her,
don't
like,
use
you
the
want to get
seller.
your own agent, yeah, get your own
Okay.
agent and work.
And
with
not
them.
one she refers you to.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
good to know.
On
Good
your
to
own. Hey, that might be a have, needs and want. I need an
Yes.
agent in Chicago.
Mhm.
Never know who might have one.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Or go, you know what you could also do? Go on the North Carolina Real Estate Investors Association Facebook networking
Just
group.
getting ready to
and
say that.
Yeah.
Post, well, see, there I go again, reading your mind.
Yep.
But anyway, go on the networking group and just post up, because there's all sorts of people on there from all sorts of places. So somebody may have an agent in the Chicago area they can refer you to. So I would post it on our networking page.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and
if I-
lastly,
If I can jump in, I do
Oh.
I do a number of investments in Chicago area, and I do have an agent there that
There you go.
So.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Janie
Sandra-
just posted, she's
Sandra
got an agent
Thompson,
for you too,
I'll
so.
put my number in.
yes,
Tamara?
please post. I tell you,
Tamara,
you all
did
are
you put your
amazing.
number in the
Yes.
chat?
Yes, I
Okay.
did put my number and I will put it again. One thing I want to do before this meeting ends, I would be remiss if I did not give a major shout out to you, Lionel, because you were actually the first person that I spoke with NC REIA. I contacted him. I don't remember how, but he reached out to me the same day, gave me referrals, talked to me, gave me some advice. And I just want to say it's very nice to meet you in person and to thank you for that that Southern hospitality that's so infamous. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
remember you. I was sitting in my office when you called. I remember you.
That's cool. Well, we can't wait to have you here in person
Yeah.
and be able to.
I
network
can't wait. If I could get there tomorrow, I would. I really would. I really would.
Well,
But I
Yeah,
have
and
to
we'll be here
have
when
to-
you get here.
have to
Yeah,
deal with
and-
my house first.
Yeah.
And you know, Lionel's slide that says, welcome to the NC REIA family, that truly is what we're about. We do look at everybody. We have a lot of family members, over 800, and we love it.
Wow.
So we'll take care of you. We'll embrace you. Sandra Thompson did put her number.
Yes,
sure
I
you
see
get
that.
it. Yeah.
Yes,
make sure
I
you
got
get
that. And I'm
Sandra's
saving
number.
the chat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Does
good.
everybody know how to save the chat by just clicking on the 3 little dots in the right, and it'll save it to your computer if you want?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, and
Good
that way I
girl.
don't have to take notes.
Okay.
Those 3 little dots next to the smiley face.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? So if that is it, thank you all. Lionel, once again, you're our rock star.
Yep. Whoop, whoop.
We so appreciate it. We appreciate you guys being here.
Mhm.
Make sure you go onto the website, look at all the meetings. I know, just like Tamara, you're in California right now. You know, there are a lot of Zoom meetings you can jump on. So
Yes.
thank you for being here. Lionel, anything?
No, that's it. Just get involved, folks.
See you same time, same station next month.
Right?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Wonderful.
you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody. Have a good evening. Stay safe.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Night.